He just left. What's up, everybody? I'm going to get started here and talk to you guys for our very first nutrition talk. And if you guys come on and you have questions along the way, totally okay. If you're watching this afterwards and you have questions, I'm going to post this to Facebook, so you can post your comments below and I will answer your questions if I don't answer them by the end of this. I want to keep it relatively short so you're digesting little bits of information along the way. I don't want to throw too much at you because this is going to be ongoing, and hopefully we get more people in here as the days move forward. So any questions, again, you got to ask. If you don't ask, I can't answer them for you. So this is about nutrition. This is our first nutrition talk, so I want to keep it simple. I want to give a big, broad brushstroke on macros. Macros are going to be key in our success when it comes to tracking our food. So I'll touch on tracking of food a little bit, go into the app, how easy it is to use the app. But really, I want to break down what food is and give you a little bit more knowledge and insight about what we're putting into our body. So let's begin. Macros, all right, they are or otherwise known as macromolecules, are the different energies that we put into our body, for the lack of a better term. There are three of them: proteins, carbs, and fats. And all the foods that we put into our body have a different breakdown and percentages of proteins, carbs, and fats. Now, before I get into those specifically and give you some examples along the way, you know, you have protein in one category and carbs and fats in another category. Protein is what's going to help us build lean muscle. And I would venture to say that no matter where you are or who you are or what you're doing, we want to build lean muscle, all right? We want to lose body fat. That might mean lose weight. It might mean put on weight, but we want to build lean muscle because if we have more muscle, we're able to function better in day-to-day life, whether it just be sitting up, standing up or sitting down, walking around, carrying ourselves, doing normal daily activities, or, you know, going and working out, playing a sport, doing physical activity, or, you know, if we have a labor-intensive job doing things with work, if we have children, you know, managing their energy as well. Protein is super important, all right? We want to have, you know, about 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit, what that looks like, and everybody's going to be different, right? So and everybody might be in a different situation. So if you're smaller, looking to put on weight, it might mean you need a certain amount of protein, you know, reaching towards that ideal lean body mass. If we're larger, looking to lose body weight, we may not need as much protein as you think. But we want to get a specific amount of protein in every day so we can stay in what's called an anabolic state. Anabolic simply means muscle building. The opposite is catabolic. That means fat storing or muscle breakdown. All right, and that's where we want to get away from there. We don't want to go into that state. So what we want to think about when we're doing this is getting a certain amount of protein in every couple of hours throughout the day. So every 3 to 4 hours. That's why I suggest 6 meals a day, and anything is a meal. Get rid of snack, get rid of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't care when you eat certain types of foods. Your body doesn't know breakfast from lunch from dinner, all right? It just knows that you're putting a specific nutrient inside of yourself to perform a specific function, all right? It's basic science, and that's how we have to start looking at food. You can enjoy the things you eat. That's never going to be a problem. But what we need to do is focus on putting a specific amount of protein in our body every so often, every couple of hours, so we keep our body in this anabolic state consistently, as often as we can. So protein, really, I break it down to 5 types. You got meat, fish, poultry, dairy, and supplements. That's it. Your body recognizes protein as meat, fish, poultry, dairy, and supplements. Those are the 5 things that you want to remember. So write that down or come back and jot it down later. Meat, anything with 4 legs, right? Fish, no legs. Poultry, 2 legs. Dairy, like non-fat Greek yogurt, non-fat milk, non-fat cheese, non-fat cottage cheese. All right, those are the things. So, you know, low fat, it's going to have high protein. And supplements, anything that comes in a container, anything with the first form label on it. Supplements. Yes, other types of foods have protein in them, okay? And with that in mind, they also have carbs and fats. Carbs and fats get a bad reputation. Carbs and fats are necessary for us to burn body fat. Why? This is the energy our body needs to perform daily function, all right? It's how we fuel our body. Protein fuels our muscles. Carbs and fats fuel our body. So we can create energy, so we can do the things that we want to do, so we can think throughout the day, so we can be cognitively sound. It's also giving us other nutrients along the way. From a micro standpoint, we'll touch on that on another talk. But most people, and you might fall into this category, undereat protein and overeat carbs and fats. So when we have an excess amount of energy or calories, okay, from a carbs and fat standpoint, our body can't process these nutrients. And if we can't process these nutrients, it turns from a carb or a fat macro to body fat. And then we're holding body fat. So the way I look at it, the way I explain it is that if you have an excess amount of energy, okay, you're going to store it as body fat because your body is going to hold on to that because it thinks like, oh, I don't have enough protein to fuel the body today. I have too many carbs and fats. I'm not putting enough energy into my caloric output, like working out. And then it stores it because it feels like it's going to need it to save it for later. Because if we were to do nothing, okay, if we were to sit and be sedentary and do nothing every day and have an excess amount of body fat, our body will survive for a longer period of time. We may not be able to do anything like get up and walk to the refrigerator or walk to get our mail or, you know, walk up and down the block, but we'd be able to live. Our heart would work slowly, we would breathe heavy, but we'd live, okay? So we're here, protein's down here and carbs and fats are up here. We need to raise the protein and balance it out. Because then when we're even, then our protein is going to fuel the muscles so we can build lean muscle. And this is the carbs and fats are going to burn body fat so we can continue to burn body fat daily. And that's what we need to do day in and day out. When it comes to carbs, I'm a high carb guy. I prefer to eat carbs. It works for my style of training, but that's me. All right. When it comes to carbs and fats, these two sources of energy, we have to balance them out as well. So what that means is you got to think about what you like to eat first. All right. Well, then we can get into how your body, you know, reacts to certain foods second. But I like bread, rice, pasta, fruit, veggies, potatoes, oatmeal, tortilla. I love carbs. I eat carbs all the time. All right. Got someone in the group. Here we go. All right. So if Dallas is joining us, hello, hello. I'll let him log on. What's up, Dallas? How are you?
Good, brother. What are you up to?
Oh, I'm just starting this talk because nobody was on here. I'm going to post the recording, but I'm just going to keep talking. And if you need me, just chime in. It's just you and me right now. This is the first nutrition talk I'm doing on this platform. We're just talking about macros. Just got through explaining protein, and I'm explaining the difference between carbs and fats right now. So, you know, listen on, and if you have any questions along the way, just chime in and just start talking. I'm here to help you. You know.
Sure.
All right. So when we're talking about carbs, you know, that's my primary choice of energy. I like, you know, the bread, rice, pasta, fruit, veggies, potatoes, because that's just what my body likes to eat. I get to eat more of it because the portion sizes will be a little bit bigger. My body doesn't react so well to fat sometimes because I feel lethargic, but that's me. You know, maybe you, Dallas, or somebody else, maybe you like fats over carbs, and that's totally okay, but we just need to learn how to balance that out. Fats on the other hand, are going to be along the lines of seeds and nuts, avocados, olive oil, grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter. And when you have fats in your day, it's also a really good source of energy. A lot of people think that fat and body fat are the same thing, but fat as a macro molecule is going to be a source of energy, which allows us to burn body fat when we have the ideal amounts. And all those amounts are going to be based on where you are today and where your goals are. So what we need to focus on is getting the appropriate amounts in when we track our food. And when it comes to tracking your food, using the My Transformation app is an amazing tool. They just did an update yesterday, which makes it so much easier to look at what you're doing and streamline your ability to type in food or scan it in the barcode. I literally tracked a meal with like 6, 7 different ingredients in less than 30 seconds because I could scan and enter and scan and enter and scan and enter. So a couple things I want you to think about when it comes to tracking your food is getting a food scale. All right, getting a food scale is going to be a great tool for you to have the rest of your life. You can get one for like $10 on Amazon. Doesn't have to be a fancy one. They all do the same thing. They all take batteries. All right, and what we need to practice doing is taking our food scale, zeroing it out, putting the food on top, measuring it, and then logging into our app. And if you do this for about a week or two, you're going to start to see how much carbs and fats and protein you're putting in your body, and B, you're going to be able to understand the portion sizes a little bit more. If you've never tracked your food, it's really hard for you to say, well, I think I ate this much, and that's okay too. You know, it's something new, and I'm here to help you along the way. Getting a food scale is going to be the most accurate way to put things into your body. And again, using this app makes it so easy. The index of food is growing every single day. You can create custom foods or custom meals if you're like me and eat the same things day in and day out. And then if you have a cheat meal and something, you know, like that you wouldn't normally eat, you track it and you can see what's in it, right? Like if you have a slice of pizza, there isn't going to be much protein in it. It's going to be a lot of carbs and fats. And I'm okay with you having that in your diet, but you got to, you know, put it in the app earlier in the day so then you can balance out by eating the right things the rest of the day. Again, so let's backtrack. Proteins, super important. Meat, fish, poultry, dairy, and supplements for you to get in the ideal amount of protein. Remember, it's roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. Let's talk about that. Now, when I say gram, all right, that's just a unit of measure on the scale. That doesn't mean grams of, when I say grams of protein, it's the amount of protein in the food that you're eating, not the amount of grams on the scale. If you weigh a 4 or 5 ounce piece of chicken, which weighs a couple 100 grams, that doesn't mean you're getting in that much protein. That means in a 4 to 5 ounce piece of chicken, you're getting about 25, 30 grams of protein. And then you have to measure how many you need by each day and then chip away at that throughout the day. The same thing with carbs and fats. Okay, carbs and fats, again, are our energy sources. You base your carbs and fat needs off of what you prefer to eat, and I can help you set that up in the app. So if you're unsure, I think we need to have a conversation about where we are, what our goals are. I can look at your numbers and message you directly through the app. If you have the premium version on the app, I'm able to look at your food log every single day and review it. If you have questions about it, if you want to send me a screenshot or just ping me at the end of each day to hold yourself accountable, I'll take a look at it and review it. I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm all in, and I want to make sure that you guys are hitting your numbers day in and day out, because this is a consistency thing. This isn't a, I'm going to change my life in one day type of thing. It took you a certain amount of time to get to where you are, and it's going to take a certain amount of time to get to where you want to be. And that's all part of the process. And if you didn't know that, or you weren't here, you know what? I don't think you'd be here anyway. So we're going to do this one day at a time, one meal at a time, one decision at a time. With that being said, you know, when it comes to measuring your food, don't get stressed out about it. It's not going to be a perfect science. If you don't hit your macros perfectly, that's okay too. I rarely hit my macros on the dot, because what that means is I'm getting close. And if you can get close, this isn't a, you know, black and white formula. This is a one day at a time. Like, what can I make an adjustment on to get a little bit closer? For instance, 2 days ago, I was super over on protein just because, you know, I decided I want to have a mug cake at the end of the day and crush my sweet tooth. And I had a little extra protein, I had a little under carbs, and I had a little under fat. And I thought, you know what, maybe this doesn't look so good because the colors on the app are, you know, saying I'm over and under. But let me tell you this, carbs and fats are flexible. I said they were interchangeable, right? So if I have to hit 350 grams of carbs a day, I have to hit 70 grams of fat a day. If I only hit 250 grams of carbs, I can go over on my fat, all right, to balance out the amount of total calories. One thing I didn't touch on was protein, carbs, and fats all equal calories. Now, if you want to write these numbers down, because you're a numbers person like me, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories, 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories, 1 gram of fats equals 9 calories. It's way more, double calorically dense than carbs and protein. So if I'm going under on carbs one day just because I couldn't get the carbs in, or I decided to eat something, or if I ate more fats rather, and I needed to scale back on my carbs, that's okay, because we're looking to get our protein every single day, hit that number, at least 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, and then our total calories. And those are the numbers we have to figure out. And then you have the flexibility to play around with what you eat every single day, so you can better understand what you're putting in your body and chip away at reaching towards your goals. So in review, the most important things we can do are know what our numbers are. So if you don't know what your numbers are, shoot me a text, DM, email, however you comment, and I will schedule an appointment with you so we can make sure that we're getting on the right page. All right. 2, get a food scale. Start playing around with it. Track your food. All right. Because if you don't track your food, and you never have tracked your food, you're not going to be able to understand what numbers you need to hit, or how many carbs, fats, and protein are in each type of food, so we can better understand what we're putting in our body. 3, don't worry if you mess up. This is a process. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I held off in the beginning on tracking my food because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what's going on. And I've been doing this for years now. And you know what? I'm more suited to help you guys today than I would be if I was just starting. This is a process, and I want to educate you guys. Okay. And number 3, have fun with it. All right. I look at it as a game, because if it wasn't a game and if it was stressful, I wouldn't want to do it. So you got your numbers, you know what you want to eat, you know what you have to hit. What can I do to win this game every day? How can I set myself up for success? Here are some tricks to do that. Think about what you're going to eat before you start your day. I like to say, like, well, I have this available to eat. I know I'm going to be here at this time. I may be out at this time. I have a meeting at another time. And I plan my day around my schedule because I know my schedule better than anybody else. I always like to say that if we're all playing a game of cards and everybody's dealt their specific hand. And in this game of cards, no matter what hand you've been dealt, you can win, because you just have to learn how to play it. And that's called being proactive versus reactive. Now, you're not going to be able to handle every situation. Like, I was traveling last week. I had to change my macros up. I wasn't as active as I normally was. I was out of my daily routine. That's a one-time thing, all right? We are in a situation right now where we kind of have to be in a day-to-day schedule based on, quarantine or shutdown or pandemic or wherever we are. So it gives us an opportunity to be more proactive about what we're putting in our body day in and day out, so we can be successful long-term. So look at it as a game, have fun with it, be proactive. I log my food before I start my day. I log it all. And if it changes, then I go back into the app and change the portion size, or if I didn't eat something, I'll take it out. But then I know after I put it in, I take the 5 minutes to put it in the morning, then I just eat. Then I just eat what I told myself I was going to eat. Because if I waited and I couldn't eat something, or I had to stuff my face at the end of the day, that wouldn't be as fun. I wouldn't enjoy that, because I would feel like I was letting myself down. So I like to be proactive and eat it first, and then I track it first, and then I eat it. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Been on here for about 20, 30 minutes. Remember, we're reviewing this. Protein is most important. Hitting your calories is second most important. Carbs and fats are interchangeable. And the one thing I really didn't mention is to read the nutrition label. The nutrition label on a product is going to tell you exactly what's in the product. The label on the front, which I call marketing, is going to tell you what you want to hear. High protein cereal doesn't mean it's protein first food. How we tell the difference between a protein food and a high protein cereal, for instance, is that if protein is the highest number between the proteins, carbs, and fats, then our body will recognize it as protein. If the carbs are the highest, our body's still going to recognize it as a carb first. Or if the fat's the highest, our body's going to recognize it as a fat first, or energy source first. some little, tricky things that are out there, for instance, might throw you off are foods like almonds. Almonds, a high protein snack. Yes, compared to all the rest of the nuts, almonds are super high in protein, but it only has 7 grams of protein per serving, which is like 5 almonds, all right? And has 14 grams of fat. So our body is going to recognize that as a fat first before using it as a protein source. Whole milk, right? There's nothing wrong with whole milk, but whole milk is going to be recognized as a carbohydrate first because it has 13 grams of carbohydrates, it has 8 grams of protein, and it has 8 grams of fat. So you're getting a lot of energy and not a lot of protein. That's why I would suggest going for a non-fat milk, because it's going to have more protein and less fat. It's still going to be a carb, but it's going to have less fat and more protein. Quinoa, kale, all good things to eat. They are carbs before protein, even though they have some protein in them. If you are an outlier, if you are a vegan or have dietary restrictions, I just suggest reaching out to me so we can have that one-on-one conversation and we can talk about what your needs are and your day-to-day, because I'm just giving you a big, broad brushstroke here. And that's really all I had to say about tracking your macros today. I think that's enough information to go on this week. Dallas, do you have any questions or anything that was on your mind since you're on here that I can talk about? You're muted right now.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure. No, I don't think so, man. I mean, the last, I don't know. I forget what fucking day I'm on. Excuse my language, because it's probably going on Facebook.
All right.
I've been doing 75 hard. I got on it for the second time. I failed it the first time, and I've been real locked in. I started that program at, I think, just about 240 pounds, and I'm down hovering right about 220 right now, and I'm only 40 days in. So, I mean,
yeah, you look lean. You look lean, man.
I found a way to get locked in, and I've, finally, been learning this process and how to do it. And, that was the biggest thing. For a long time, I struggled with it, but now I've come to enjoy it.
I think that's awesome. And you look lean. And I know we haven't chatted in a bit, and I haven't been on the transformation app, but like I said, I'm all in. So anything you need along the way, you just let me know. But I mean, I think what you said is key, right? Like, you found what works for you and you made it work, right? Well, because what works for you may not work for somebody else, and what works for somebody else may not work for you. But as long as it's working to get you your results, that's the important part.
Right. And that's the biggest thing, is that now that I've seen my weight drop, of course, my caloric intake drops along with my carbs and my fats. My protein doesn't really drop because it hovers right around 200 grams of protein no matter what. But, I expect, at some point here that I will potentially plateau, and that's probably because I'm eating too less. So then I just bump my caloric intake back up and my carbs and my fats to something that works again.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that'll happen one day, and when that day comes, we can adjust it, right? But I don't think that's not where we want to what we want to worry about, because if we worry about what's going to happen down the line, we lose track of what's happening today. So I think what you're doing, and like making sure that you're making the most of each and every day and staying organized and hitting 75 hard, and that's a program that Andy Priscilla started, for those of you who watch this later and don't know about it, and we can talk about that if you want. It's a pretty great program. He just dropped a book. I got it. I'm excited to read it, and I'm thinking about diving into doing the 75 hard along with reading the book. I think that would be really fun. But it's staying organized and disciplined in your actions to yield results, and that speaks wonders when it comes to progress over time. There's nothing better than taking the time to stay disciplined through simple tasks to make sure you're organized in your life, physically, wellness-wise, healthy-wise, professionally, financially. Like, it all coincides, and that's something that we can talk about as we move forward, for sure. Cool, man. Well, that's all I got for this call today. I really appreciate you hopping on. It's good to see your face. It's been a minute.
Yeah, you too, brother. You too, man. I'm just trying to clean up my place a little bit. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it looks good. If you want to come over here and help out afterwards, that would be great.
Hey, that's a long 7-8 hour drive back up to Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, I'd rather come down your way and hang out and actually go to the beach or something. Oh,
It's nice. It's beautiful beach weather, but I don't know how much longer it's going to last. Our governor is getting ready to potentially probably lock us down again. I mean, my gym, I started going to a new gym, and they said there's no more guests that are allowed to go in anymore.
Oh, wow.
Members only. So we're going to see what happens there, but they might start locking the gyms down again here.
Oh man, well, we'll make it work regardless. I know you got a good head on your shoulders, and you're gonna make it work and keep crushing it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We haven't even opened up yet. I'm just at the gym, but we're still locked down, closed down for the foreseeable future. We haven't had any communication from our end, but you know what? I think like having this group and having this community online is gonna keep us all motivated and positive through whatever happens next. Because I don't know if anything is gonna surprise us at this point.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been a roller coaster ride for 2020. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, I'll let you go. We'll talk to you soon. If you need me, just holler, and we'll talk later. All right, bud?
Absolutely, brother. Good seeing you.
Yeah, take it easy. Have a good one.
Yeah.